The conversation has gone a long way since last year. I think last year we were really talking about whether there's a problem. I think now globally governments and communities are wrestling with what the solution might be. Our own WhatsApp group in Guernsey still stands at around 600 members, which is obviously really powerful. But last year there was no movement to speak of in Guernsey. The conversation still felt a bit fringe. It doesn't really feel like that anymore. It feels a lot more mainstream, and there feels like there's a lot more choices for people, especially with those with children going into secondary school for the first time. And that conversation seems to be becoming more mainstream day by day. I think deep down we all know that something's off. Nobody's really against addressing it. I think the question is just how. A lot of people are unsure of if we can fix it, and certainly different people have different opinions on what the role of government might be, or schools might be, or parents, or even children in addressing the problems. Which is fine, we live in a democracy, we can disagree on the methods. I don't think there are many who think there isn't some kind of problem. It's impossible to deny, in fact, the evidence is overwhelming now, and from pre-reception to young workers. It's not technophobia, it's not anti-tech, it's not regressive, it's not a problem to want to address it. And the great thing for us in Guernsey, as it was when we talked about this last year, is nobody loses. We don't have any tech companies, we don't have any phone manufacturers. If we can fix the problem, nobody locally risks losing. But equally, nobody can fix the problem on their own. This is something which we've said from the beginning. We feel this has to be a cross-society solution. It can't just be schools within the school gates. Schools do a great job, but it's not just about phones and smartphones in schools. It can't just be parents at home on their own either. It's too big a struggle. It has to be a society-wide issue, and because it impacts all of us, so it needs a society response. I'm going to wrap up now by saying very quickly that we've decided that for the next year we have one main aim in our campaign, and that is to see our 6 secondary schools, so 3 state, 3 private, aligned with our island's primary schools as smartphone-free, brickphone-only environments up to year 12, so sixth form in Old Money. Not because our schools aren't doing a great job in handling the issues of smartphones, but because schools represent a nucleus from where we can see a real societal new norm develop most easily and quickly. And to allow space for a new norm of the kind that we're going to hear David talk about in a moment. We think Guernsey can be the first state on the planet to make this a policy across all schools, offering equal opportunity to all our children. I've just realised that my glasses are on my head, which is why I can't quite read my notes. I was going to direct this at Paul Montague, but I think something's happened. He's not quite made it yet, but so I'll chuck it at some members of his committee instead. You know, we would love to challenge you guys to be the first education committee ministers on the planet to make our society a completely brick phone pre-16 education system. Nobody loses, there's nothing negative in that, it's not an expensive exercise, it's totally doable with a tiny bit of courage and working together, and we will back you to the hilt. And you know, most of the deputies, or at least a large number of deputies, would also back this. So we think it's totally achievable. On that note, you're not here to listen to me. Let me introduce the people you are here to listen to. We're going to hear from both speakers, and then we're going to do a combined Q&A at the end. So if you've got any questions as you go along, please just keep a note of them and save them up for that. Our first speaker this morning is Emma Martins. Emma is a mother of 2. She's spent her entire professional career working in data protection at the highest level. First as data protection officer and later as a regulator. From 2018 to 2023, she served as Guernsey's Data Protection Commissioner. Since then, she has held a number of senior advisory and regulatory roles, including Chief Commissioner of the UK's Data and Marketing Commission. Emma has a particular passion for data ethics and children's protection. Much of today's debate focuses on smartphones and social media, but underpinning that sits data, algorithms, attention, and intentional design. Emma is uniquely placed to help us understand that world. Please help me welcome Emma Martins.